health lovers. So we have come to the final episode for the endocrine system, and in today's video I am practically going to be talking about the islet of Langerhans and the pineal body. So now let's talk about the pancreatic islet of Langerhans. Now the pancreatic islet of Langerhans are small clusters of endocrine cells, and they are scattered throughout the pancreas. So the human pancreas contain about 1 million islets of Langerhans. Now the length is about 100 micrometers, and the shape of this islet of Langerhans is oval shape. Now we move over to the microscopic structure of the islet of Langerhans. Now you may ask, why are we not talking about the gross structure? So basically we can't even see these cells. Anything that has to do with cells can't be seen with the naked eye. So we dive to the microscopic structure. So the microscopic structure of this islet of Langerhans, it is composed of 3 types of cells. We have the alpha cells, we have the beta cells, and we have the delta cells. Now, the alpha cell secretes glucagon, the beta cell secretes insulin, and the delta cells secrete somatostatin. So these are the 3 hormones that are being secreted from the cells of the islet of Langerhans. So the glucagon is responsible for converting glycogen to glucose when the body lacks glucose. Then the insulin is to suppress excess glucose in the body. Then the somatostatin is an inhibitory hormone that either inhibits the action of the glucagon or the insulin. So talking about the organs in association, anteriorly is the stomach and posteriorly is the spleen. Now let's talk about the blood supply to the islet of Langerhans. So arterial blood supply is the mesenteric arteries, and the venous drainage is the pancreatic veins. Now we talk about the nerve supply. So nerve supply to the islet of Langerhans is basically the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve supply. Now let's talk about the pineal body. Now another name for the pineal body is otherwise known as the epiphysis, or is known as the third eye. Now the pineal body is responsible for regulating sleep-wake cycle, and the hormone secreted by the pineal body is the melatonin. So let's talk about the location of the pineal body. So the pineal body is located behind the third ventricle in the brain, and the hormone secreted, like I said earlier, is the melatonin. So melatonin is responsible for the sleep-wake cycle. Now excess secretion occurs when everywhere is dark in the night, and poor secretion occurs when you turn on the lights during sleep. So that's why many of us find it very difficult to sleep, because our secretion of melatonin is less effective because of the lights that we keep on when we sleep. So now let's talk about the organs in association. Posteriorly is the third ventricle in the brain. Now we talk about the blood supply. So blood supply is the internal cerebral arteries, and the venous drainage is the internal cerebral veins. Now we talk about the nerve supply. So the nerve supply is the sympathetic nerve supply and also the parasympathetic nerve supply, and that takes us to the end of the anatomy of the endocrine system. So I hope you all learned a lot. So do well to like, follow, and share. And in my next video I am going to be introducing another system. Thank you very much for learning. Bye.